I'll answer your questions for you guys.
Start off front row in Austin.
Urban, as long as you've been doing this, when you close out a training camp, do you have a good idea of what you're working with for the full season? Or what is your verdict?
I'm not going to share that with you guys yet. I like our team. I like the fact that I hate to be redundant and, as my wife says, coach speak, but I really like our older players, and they've shown it throughout training camp. School starts tomorrow, so a whole other distractions, and guys are on their own. They're not locked down in their hotel. A little sluggish today, so we just have to have another attempt to have a good one tomorrow. But I'm not sure what you're expecting me to say. Do I think we have a great team? I don't think we have a great team yet, but I like where we're at.
If you have this time and training camp is over, now you shift to Indiana. Is that extra practice time? Are you full into game plan now?
Yeah, we're full into IU. Today was the first day. We've been working bits and pieces, and you have an Army team coming up on week 3, so we've been having to work on those. So this is a complicated little schedule we have here. The first 3 games, but all focus is on IU, and it has been for a while, but there's also just, you have a game 2 is rather significant, and then you have Army game 3.
Urban, how is Mike Weber?
Mike Weber ran full speed today, so he's doing very good. Going to go in the game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And how much of J.K. Dobbins are we likely to see?
Yeah, he'll play. He's earned that right. We're going to call his family this week and tell him to get ready to go watch some football because he's going to play.
Front row middle, Dave.
Coaches, Brandon Bowen emerged as the starter at right guard.
He's in the mix. Nothing. Probably Wednesday is when we'll make the call to some families, and he's right on the cusp.
And in the scrimmage on Saturday, offensively, defensively, who kind of won the battle overall at the scrimmage?
This time of year, you're just getting ready to go play.
Front row right, Tim.
Yeah, Urban, Devon Grimes, I was watching highlights, little snippet highlights you guys post up. It looked like Devon Grimes had a few catches on Saturday. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, he's much improved.
Where is he in that regard?
He's right on the bubble of travel or not, and we'll that determines here in the next 2 days. But he's right on the bubble, and his last 10 days have been much better than his first 10 days.
What position group in your mind, or maybe individual in your mind, has made the biggest strides between when you watched him or them the first day of practice and up to now with camp being over? Which group has caught your eye?
I think we had a 3-hour meeting last night. Went through everybody on the team, and I had Mick, and he made the comment about the receivers and the O-line are 2 of the top most improved. Brandon Bowen, if you're singling out players, would fall into that category of really, really improved. I put Michael Jordan there as well. I mean, he has really improved as a player. And on defense, I thought Damon Webb was a good player. He's a really good player now. He's playing at a very high level. Those are just a few names.
Far left, Laura.
Coach, a couple years ago you went to press coverage defense, not in spite the fact that it was high risk, high reward, but almost because, and you had the horses to do it. Is stressing the deep ball sort of a similar thing on offense, or is the deep ball necessarily a high risk, high reward play?
No, it was last year. It was a high risk and not much reward. And I think any team that runs the ball well, you have to complete the deep pass because people are going to load it up on you. And we run the ball. Someone told me in the last 5 years we've not been outrushed by anyone for 5 straight years, total cumulative. So we're a very good running team. We will be again this year. And you saw in 14 when they put extra defenders in there to stop the run, you have to execute, and we haven't done quite as well since then. So that's going to be has been a huge priority.
I know that you've discussed how in the past that you sometimes take time to discuss issues beyond football with this team. With the way things have gone since the start of camp, just in the world, have you felt that necessary this year or no?
Sure. We've had a couple conversations with what happened in Virginia, and it was everywhere. We were kind of buried in training camp, but I went to each room. We talked about things, and And there's some tough things going on right here, and we've kind of taken the approach. It started last year, and real Live Life Wednesdays was you can't really control what's going on out there, but you can be a shining light and kind of a role model for the way you handle your business, and not only for your family, but Ohio State people watch you, and very impressed with our guys, the way they handle themselves and what they say, and but we discussed that, and can't control Virginia, but you can control what goes on here within the family.
Front row right, Bill.
You kind of addressed the right guard situation. Is there any more detail you can shed on that, as well as the safety and even the kicker?
Under safety is down to Eric Smith and Jordan Fuller. That hasn't been determined yet. Right guard has not been determined yet. And kicker, the young guys, Blake's a pretty good player. Right now, Sean is ahead of him, but not by a very far margin.
And you've now had a training camp with Kevin Wilson. You thought you knew what you had. What do you have with him? What makes him special or especially talented as a play caller?
He goes quick. He's, he spits plays out real fast. Him and Ryan Day work very good together. I like where we're at. I've liked it. We've done more play it. That means they're unscripted plays than we ever have for that purpose. And I'll just throw the ball down 2nd and 1, 3rd down and 6, on purpose. They can't look off a sheet. They have to call plays, and done a very nice job.
Far left, Doug.
Urban, we know how much you value special teams, and we know that there's a lot of dynamic guys on this roster. In the punt return game and punt block game, have you guys been as dynamic as you would like to be?
No, we were decent when Jalen was back there. We were not very good. We were poor last year, very poor in punt return, and teams have changed. It's very hard to block a punt nowadays. That whole system of punt, we kind of, I don't want to say we started, but we, years ago when I was at Utah, the big guys in the back, and it's much more difficult to block punts now. So we're a little more emphasis on return game, and that's an area that we deemed inadequate a year ago, obviously, and we worked very hard on it. So right now I think it's KJ and Demario McCall are the two guys that will either rotate or they're going to be our punt returners at this point.
Now, I know you've been asked about this in various forums, but Ezekiel Elliott's situation, when you have a player like that this program is still so connected to, Stacy is still around the program, I'm wondering about it from an Ohio State perspective. Is that any reflection on Ohio State at all, if he's in the spotlight for negative reasons, sort of, in the NFL? Do you think that has any reflection on Ohio State? Do you worry about that at all from the Ohio State standpoint? I know you care about Zeke.
No, I worry about like perception or things. I live that down at the other place. No, we have a responsibility here to do the best we can, and Zeke's family, and we're trying to do the best we can to stay in touch with him, stay in touch with his family. His family had a nice meeting yesterday and just sat and visited for a while. His sister is going to go to school here. So, I've commented many times on Zeke. We love Zeke, and we want what's best for him, and the best thing we can do is educate and advise and always be here for him.
2nd row middle, Jeremy.
Urban, how important has it been to get Tracy Sprinkle back and fully healthy for the defensive tackles?
Yeah, we're going to announce captains tonight, and I anticipate that he'll probably be a captain. That's how much he means to this team, and the amount of respect he has earned over the last couple of years. He works so hard, and you see an injury, that's awful, and it's just great to have him back. Plus, he's a very good player.
Right next door, Ryan.
When we talked to the offensive line last week, they had a lot of good things to say about Draymond and how he's looked this fall. Just from what you've seen of him over the past year, what's it been like to watch his development into a guy who seems like he could be a star in the making?
Yeah, I didn't mention him as one of the most improved players. He's a very much improved guy, and I agree with our offensive line. He carried on near the end of the season. He was playing very, very well, and he's even playing better now.
Back row, 4th row, right, Rob.
Urban, the AP preseason poll just came out, which of course doesn't mean a whole lot, but it's the usual suspects. Alabama 1, you guys are 2, Florida State's 3. Is that good for college football? I mean, are the same teams up there, or would you rather have parity? I assume when you were at Utah.
I'm sure you know me. You know my answer, right? I don't care.
I got it, right?
We got kicking meetings here in an hour, and you gotta be ready for that.
Last couple questions. Far left, Matt.
the guy that always gets mentioned when we ask about freshmen to the players has been J.K. Dobbins. What, I don't know, separates him from just another freshman back?
Yeah, he's a little bit, you guys remember when Raekwon McMillan got here, he was just kind of a grown man. He showed up, and however he was raised, and what a credit to his mother. And J.K.'s the same. He came in here, and he's an excellent student, one of the best workers in the weight room, and then on top of that, God's gifted him with great speed and elusiveness, and he's a real one, and we're happy he's here.
Is there any more delineation backup quarterback-wise? How do you go into game number one between Joe?
We'll have a plan. It's not been finalized yet.
And final question, second row left, Ari.
Urban, can you put perspective on how much Nick Bosa may have grown since his freshman year? I know there's a lot of anticipation and with his name on his jersey, but I was just wondering, can you maybe provide some insight?
Remember last year, he didn't really practice much at the tempo that you needed to get him ready because of the ACL injury he suffered in high school, and he's ridiculous right now. He's that name's very good right now. Need some more Bosas.
And if he...
Keep trying to talk. Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
If he turns out to be as good as his brother, which, I know you don't like the comparison, but if he is even in the neighborhood of what Joey was as a sophomore, how much of an issue does that create in terms of how you get reps on the field? Because you already have two very good defensive ends.
Right, three. So he's a fourth. So there are 4 RDNs, and then Chase Young and Cooper right behind him. So we, that's Coach Jay loves to rotate players. We also have some other packages where you'll see more than a couple on the field at one time.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.